Hey, my warriors. So I just wanted to come on and briefly just chat with y'all for a minute about something that was on my mind. I went to a workshop yesterday, a self presentation workshop. And the workshop was actually a vision board workshop. Now, I had been considering a vision board before, had even started one, and a friend of mine told me a few weeks ago that she wanted me to create a vision board. And then after getting the supplies and whatever, I kind of stalled on it. I started making one, but I actually made an electronic one. But anyway, so last week I came upon a vlogger, Zaza Ali, who was having an event in Atlanta for vision boards or workshops that she titled self-presentation vision board workshop. So I went, it was yesterday. Amazing. Zaza Ali is an amazing speaker, an amazing thinker, and she got me to thinking. She didn't really change how I feel about everything, especially racism and where we stand as a people in this country, but she did open my eyes to look at it differently. And what I mean by that is something she said kind of resonated with me, and that is the fact that what you think is what you manifest. So sometimes I feel myself getting extremely angry about the situation, and I just wish that more of us stood up to it. Right is right, wrong is wrong, as I've said in my other videos. But I had to ask myself, is the message that I'm projecting one of the typical angry black woman? And that's not what I want to portray. So she gave me a couple of books to read, and so I looked them up, and I just want to take one of the verses from one of them, the new Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness. And quite simply, what the title means is that America has somehow painted this picture that everybody is colorblind. And while that may be the ideal world to live in, that's not the world that black people live in, unfortunately. And we all know that our people are incarcerated way more than any other race. So what the verse says is the very discourse of colorblindness created by neoconservatives and neoliberals in order to trivialize and disguise the depths of black suffering in the 1980s and 90s has left America blind to the new Jim Crow. How sad is it that blindness has persisted under both the Republican and the Democratic administrations? Pause. A brother that was at the seminar yesterday at the workshop, he made a statement, and he said that every time he makes this statement to his friends and his family, they kind of bash him in the head. What he said was, what did President Obama do for the black people? And another young lady at the workshop, he was from New York, she was from Michigan, and of course I'm from Detroit. She spoke up, and it was just us three, so nobody else in the workshop heard this conversation. But she spoke up, and she was like, really nothing. I mean, unless you're gay and black, he might have done something for you, but for just the typical black American, when you think about it, he didn't do anything. And she made another point saying that he was an ideal, an ideology that maybe we as Americans have overcome certain racial boundaries because we put a black man in the White House. And I thought about it, and it was like, that's true. We were in love with President Obama because he represented us simply by color. He didn't do anything for the mass incarceration of blacks. he didn't do anything for the betterment of education for blacks, especially in grade school, grammar school. Um, the job market, from the numbers that you've read, yeah, he did a little bit of work on that. The mortgage rates were good, however they've gone up. So me being a homeowner, it was short lived. Um, yeah. So I'm saying that to say this: what Michelle Anderson said in this paragraph that I read about color blindness being portrayed and trivialized by both the Democratic and Republican Party is that is either party working for the betterment of the regular black, the typical black, not the rich black, not the black above working class, not the black above what was once middle class. No. So to continue, it remains to this day hardly acknowledged or examined in our nation's public discourse. So the problems that we have as black people is really being swept under the carpet by both administrations. And so what does that mean? Does that mean that we dwell on the fact that this country is beating us upside the head in all types of directions? I mean, blacks, we're catching hell up, down, left, right, north, south. We catching it from all points. That's nothing new to us, which is why we're in the positions that we're in now, which is why we come off as savage, which is why the black women are said to be angry. It's because of everything that we've endured. Now, in my opinion, I somewhat see what Kanye is talking about when he's, oh, we don't need to dwell on the 13th Amendment and we need to get over it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I see where he's going with that. I think, I can't really say because it's Kanye, but I believe that I understand what he's saying. And I believe that what he's trying to say is that the more we dwell in our past, the harder it's going to be for us to reach our potential, to go forward in our future. It's going to keep us stunted back in that time. And so, yeah, that kind of correlates with what Zaza was saying. But I'm sorry, my boyfriend is on the phone. But yeah, that correlates with what she's saying. So, in my opinion, I don't think the objective for people like myself is to actually dwell on the past. But I think the objective is really to heal from the past. But I ask myself, how can someone who's been forced to endure something for so long and for so many years and then receive absolutely no help in healing or getting over it or advancing, simply straighten up and fly right? How can you do that? It's quite simple. You can't. So my thing is, and I think my message, I want my message to be, don't dwell on it and let hatred manifest in your dwelling. But always keep it in your mind. You want to, basically, you can't allow someone else's mistreatment and negligence to stunt your personal, your mental, and your spiritual growth. So basically, I feel like you have to keep your oppressors and their oppressions in your mind so that they are never allowed to enslave and imprison you again. And at the same time, you have to open your minds to the potential that you were given by God. I mean, God instilled potential in all of us. I think we all have a purpose for being here. And I know, being a black woman, I know the potential. I know what we're capable of doing. Just simply by You know, certain crimes being committed. You know, some things take a certain level of intellect. We are by nature survivors. So there's no reason that we can't live up to our potential. And the only reason that we're not is because it's engraved in our brain and in our mind that we can't. So what has to happen is we have to be deprogrammed almost. Just like a soldier goes to war, when he comes back, he or she, they have to be debriefed, deprogrammed. You know, so that when they go back to their families, they don't still have that same mindset that was instilled to them to go out on the battlefield and fight. So that's the same thing. We as black people as a whole, we have to be debriefed. We have to be this has to be reprogrammed, because otherwise we're going to keep living in the past and we're going to want to fight, because who can we trust? So now we're fighting each other. And that's the one thing that I want to get out there, is that we have to stop fighting each other, because no one's for us. They've proven that time and time again. The government, the police, everything, media, music, it's all about destruction of the black man and woman. And so it's time for us to build each other up. And I think we just need to open our minds to what we're capable of and our potential. Because if we didn't have a great potential and we weren't considered a great people, what would be the need to oppress us? Why would everyone be so threatened by us, so threatened that they have to keep us down? And they keep us down, they beat us down with their words, their actions, with what they allow us to do. It's funny to me how back in the 80s, both NWA and Ice-T were censored for saying NWA, fuck the police, Ice-T, cop killer. But yet still today, our black men can sing about or rap about, talk about, whatever, slamming their black women's faces into the wall and fucking multiple females, and you know, just total disrespect, sexualizing and over sexualizing a black woman. And at some point, black men have to stand up, put their foot down and say, I will not disrespect my black woman like that. Hell, why can't you put a white woman in your video and talk about slamming her head up against a wall, or fucking her while another woman is sucking her, fucking you, or whatever you want to call it? Stop disrespecting your own people, because that's what they want. So this video is just about, just really to get that off my chest, because I'm not going to just post just because it's Sunday or it's Saturday or I need to post 2 videos a month. No, my posts are going to always be about what's in my heart. So when it's on my heart, I'm going to speak it, because it's like writing to me. It's therapeutic, because if I sit and I think about just everything that's been done to us, everything that's currently being done to us, it makes me angry. And so, you know, I learned a long time ago, write it out. If you got something on your mind and you just can't, you got to get it out, but you don't want to verbalize it because you don't know how it's going to come across to people, write it down. The same friend who told me to do a vision board also told me to start videotaping my thoughts. Because quite frankly, I told her I'm not going to write them down, because it's just too much to say. You know, I'm really passionate about how I feel, but at the same time, I don't want to sit there and write it all. So I figured, okay, the best way to get it out is to vlog about it. And so with me trying to get people to just change their mindset, you know, I really don't know where I'm going with this, or if I'll actually, you know, if it's going to come out and manifest itself in the outreach program, or if it's going to be more so go a life coach direction. I'm just really kind of winging it and just speaking from my heart. So, you know, as people tell me what they need, I talk to different people, I have conversations. Like I'm going to try to talk to a few people who are either directors or founders of different reentry programs, or like the juvenile detention center, and just see, you know, what is it that our people are lacking when you're interacting with them on a daily basis? What is it that they're lacking? What is it that's in their mind that's setting them on repeating past actions. Um, Other than you constantly being reminded that you ain't shit, you're the inferior race, blah 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 blah. But what is it that you need? What is it that's going to keep you out of the system? What is it that you need? Is it something that you need from your black brothers and sisters? You can't get what you didn't get in the past, but that doesn't mean you can't get it now. A family does not necessarily mean the people who share your blood. A family is the people that hold you up when you need them. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's what this channel is really all about. I want us to support. I want to show that I'm supportive of whoever. I started on the bottom. I'm not at the top, but I'm not on the bottom as far as the American bottom. But I'm still straight from the D. I'm around the way. I'm just Kels. Like I said, Kels the warrior. So I fight for what I believe in, and I don't let nobody shut me down. So I just want collectively everyone who's on my channel to try to, not necessarily have my mindset. You don't have to think like me. You don't have to be me. You don't have to do things the way that I do them. But my hope is that all of us collectively will start to change our mindset. Start telling yourself that you are valuable. The more that you tell yourself that, you'll believe it. And I believe that vision boards do work, because I myself have written things down and, constantly thought about it, and how would I do this? And if I had that, what would I do? And this is what I would do if I was given this. And those things actually manifested because I believed that I was worthy of them. I believed that one day it would happen. I was strong in my faith, and those things happen. So why can't we all just say, I am strong, I am beautiful. This is what God gave you. So God didn't make a mistake. But you have to take that talent that you have, that, it may just be something as simple as cooking, drawing. How can you use that to your benefit? It might be math. If you can cook up some drugs and bag it, then you're pretty damn good at math. So, don't let anybody tell you, oh, you just a street nigga, or, you know good, you just a bitch that niggas want to fuck. And that's so far from the truth. But if you start to internalize it, that's exactly what you're going to manifest. So that's all I really want to say. Let's just change our mindset, change how we think about ourselves, and think about what we're going to do to go forward, because it's time to grow. It's time to change our minds. So let's do that together. Peace out, warriors.